1980 now is 20, 40 something, 43 years. Mm-hmm. Let me focus on this thing. I'm trying to get my these things up for the program. Yeah, yeah, 7 o'clock. Mhm. All right. All right. All right. Thank you.
I am Obi. Hello, are you hearing me?
She put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand. Hold up on she frock, I wanna she grandson. To the market, them a go. For the morning, the day is dawning. For cockcrow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking. Cockcrow, dagaba, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Cockcrow, dagaba, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. All day a back down, me now a come home. Inaga jackass yard for fetchy load. Cockle shy hand, bag over shoulder, running by his side. A Rexy and Rover from the farm, them a come. Sun a go down but up the river. Some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka, Kuma, even Banga Mary. Listen to this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. Them children glad when the weekend come. Out in the yard, them all gather round. Some a play catcher, some making house from straw. Two who come later, a grandma or grandpa. All a sit down just a wait. Moonlight so bright, it's just the right time to listen story or to say a little nursery rhyme. Grandpa voice a echo in the night as he tell the tale. Some picnic are there with fright. Oh, Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurma, Nancy, even Watamuma. Oh, Ligan, Moongeza, Massa Kurma, Nancy, even Watamuma. Yeah, man, that's the true story that tell the people about life in the country, life in the country.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. We are here once more with the BV Triumph Report.
Presentation.
Now, this evening, program, we will be looking at a few issues, including the conclusion of the saga with the courts and our lands. But there are some other things we need to look at also this evening. So without keeping, what's happening here? I'm not seeing my video. Yeah, without keeping people waiting too long, I will just say what happened in court on Tuesday so that we can go on with the rest of the program. Now, Tuesday, we had our third court session. The former two sessions were called off because the judge was on leave. So Tuesday we met, and immediately the lawyer for Mohammed's sons and daughters declared that they were no longer interested in pursuing the matter. And this was not just because they did not really want to go after our lands, or they had some change of heart. We must accept that our presence, because a group of us entered, requested that we join the case. That was significant because we went there with our transports and so on. So the judge's comment to that was, it's good that good sense prevailed, right? The lawyer for Mohammed's sons and daughters, well, the judge said, because the council had to enter defense, which if they have incurred a cost in entering the defense, Mohammed's sons and daughters should be made to pay them some sort of cost, recompensing their efforts, right, of entering a defense. So the lawyer for the council, when asked what he would like to, he said, he deferred that to the judge to decide. The judge decided at 250,000 as a cost. Now, the lawyer for the Mohammed's sons and daughters tried to demonstrate that the council was at fault in this thing, because Mohammed's sons and daughters, they were induced into error by the council. So the judge then went into a tirade about the obnoxiousness of this whole episode. Everybody who were involved in the sale or attempted sale, as some will want to call it, and the attempt to force the council to give over private people's lands and the rest of it, it was obnoxious. It stunk to hell. And he was very, very abrasive, I must say. I will not go on more because I would prefer to have his judgment before misquoting the goodly gentleman. As for our entrance, we did not only appear to be there as witness to ensure that we got our just reward of our lands being left. We also attempted to sue the government because we wanted to bring the Attorney General to represent the government on the case, because if the government neglect to ensure that such a thing did not happen, one, that is where they could have attempted to sell people's private properties. Our lawyer entered a plea that this land should be considered ancestral lands, and ancestral lands, as we all know, is a big deal in Guyana where it's under attack. But the judge, for whatever reason, he did not want to go down that road. But the fact that we entered, and our lawyer also made it in a kind of, present it in a way to politicize the whole thing. And that again is what probably scared them, because it would have been a real issue that them coming trying to thief poor people's land, right? Where the rich is thieving from the poor. Our lawyer presented a case of that nature too in his appeal for us to enter. So as it stands, the council will be benefiting $250,000. I don't know if that would just cover the lawyer's fee. I don't know what was the lawyer's fee. But many of them are annoyed that, well, we still entered because, but I will tell you here and now, there was no way I would have sat by and allowed that lawyer that the council had hired to represent us who owned lands behind there. Because in the meeting he had with us, he was clear that our transports, he had doubts about the validity of our transports. You know, so meaning that he was not satisfied that he was just that the council were in the right all along, right? I mean, they were his immediate clients, and maybe he wanted to make them feel good, even though they at that point were saying the lands belongs to people. Though the week before that happened, the chairman went online to say that he has only seen one transport, so he don't know how one transport could or two transport can cover that amount of land and blah 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 blah. No. So they were all telling me, man, you don't need to go that way, and so it happened as it happened. But no, the joke is the people on the council have posted on BV Facebook and other places that they have won they have been vindicated, and we who try to enter the case have to pay them a recompense because the judge felt that we were wrong to do what we did. So the joke is on them. That's all I will say. Right? So we are good for now, as we can say that we are good for now, though there are some other issues involving lands, because since I posted that up, I see somebody mention that Section A, a large portion of Section A in the back was sold to some BM Soats. No, that is something you'll have to investigate. I mean, the people continue selling. I mean, the council, the chairman was in court with the Rowe family, attempting to sell their lands to the same BM Soats people, I think, or no, not BM Soats, to a subsidiary of John Finance Limited, a construction subsidiary. No, so it seems as if there's a group of people that these people want to sell lands to. You know, BM Soats is featuring a lot. They have actually filed prescription on a piece of land in Triumph too. Right? Fortunately, the council says, I don't know if they will do it. They will appeal, they will contest that. But we will have to see. Right? What has happened in the meanwhile is that the council continues to tell people with lands in Section G that they must come with their transport before they can pay their rates and taxes. A move which I don't think is necessary. But I cannot continue fighting them on everything. Some things some fights.
Help them get a transport.
The people, no, they know that people will not have, many people don't have transports. They know also that families, you will now have to go and get a copy of the transport, and they may not have it in their name. It may be in some great grandfather's name and the rest. But so they are harassing people basically. Right? So the council continues their nonsense with people's land. Now, with regards BM Soats, again, I have some pictures I will share with you here now. Some photograph. This property is at the head of Agricultural Road. Those of you who have been around the neighborhood recently will know this property. It's when you come out Agricultural Road, at the public road, you reach that. This property was leased to BM Soats for the princely sum of $42,000 a month. You see the frontage there. It's much bigger than the Smiling. I will always compare it to the Smiling supermarket, which is leased by the former overseer for $250,000 a month. And that frontage is much bigger than this. Now, look at the depth of this property that these people have built on that land for for 42,000 a month. That's it. Look at this property. It's about 300 feet long.
Oh,
The fact
oh
that
my
they
God.
they went across the width of that land, no one else can occupy behind there. Only
Mm,
BM Souls. All of that land
mm,
is leased for $42,000 a month. I compared it to
mm,
what it
mm.
here is leased for $250,000 because she was in the decision making. I mean, she as a principal advisor to the council, even if councillors went and negotiated outside of the council, she should have been able to say that is not the real cost of lease. That is too small a sum. So virtually BM Souls has all the land from the public road to the seawalls for $42,000 a month.
Well, you
And
don't construct like that. You from the why you go right onto the boundary. You got to at least be so many feet from
no,
the boundary.
it's away from the boundary. But what I'm saying is, nobody else can occupy behind there. Look at it from the front again.
Because it wasn't. But if you haven't taken up all the land, you're supposed to leave a right of way.
Right.
You're
You see,
supposed to
this
leave a right of way.
you have about 10 feet on both, 10, 15 feet on both sides. So nobody, you see, and even they built something going out there. So nobody can have access, ingress and egress to go to the back there. I'm
The
saying if
minimum of 24 feet.
Central Housing and Planning Authorities did not give permission for land use change in this case. When I raised it with the council last year twice about they said the matter is in court, so the council cannot do anything. Central Housing and Planning has sent a notice to stop these people from building because the council did not give them permission to build, but they have built, and that is it. So this, my dear friends, shall be what I will be occupying myself with for within the next month, in the coming months. I asked them at the last council meeting, but I had an emergency. I had to leave, that we pen a letter to the Ministry of Local Government, Central Housing, requesting that a delegation from the council go to meet them to discuss what we should do with this property, or we should deal with it. They did not agree with me. I understand after I left, they decided they will just then send a letter to informing the Ministry of Local Government what is happening again. And this year, I'm saying we need to go with a delegation and sit there and start planning as to what to do with this year. If it is that the government, if it is that they will be granting a land use change, then BM Souls must at least take off this portion of the building so that the other, whoever else will get the back can have ingress and egress. Because as it is, even as this is now, this is your entrance, you have to come out on Moripo Road, on the Moripo side. So likewise, if anybody is to get behind at the back there, what will have to happen is that they will also have to use the Moripo Road. And the Moripo District Council will be in their full rights to say no to anybody traversing that road to get access to this land. Where is it? Yes, this here. If anybody is to get going to the seawall, Moripo District Council can simply say no, you cannot use our roads. There's no way we can enforce that. Just look at this thing here. And they did not give permission to build, according to them.
Good night, everyone. I'd
Good
just
night.
like to find out, when the council leased the land to them, did they specify how much land they're leasing, or they just lease land?
Well,
Just like
I
that?
did not see the lease document because, as I said, I went on to the council when all of this was completed. I wrote to the council. When I first saw this, I wrote to the council. I wrote to Central Housing and Planning, indicating that this here is a dam and it's a violation to land use. Central Housing subsequently wrote them indicating that there is no permission to build and the structure should be taken down. But at the time, they claimed that the matter was in court because the people from Lands and Surveys took the matter to court, claiming the land as belonging to Lands and Surveys. But the man continued to build. And the council said they cannot interrupt him because the matter is in court. That is what they told me at council level. So we got problems with a council that feels that they cannot effectively represent themselves. Right? Now, there are other land issues, as I said, there somebody mentioned on when I publicized the court issue that they are selling the lands, a portion of lands to BM suits in the backlands. That I will have to inquire from when I go there next time to the council, though they may not want to tell me because things happen that I'm not supposed to know because I take things too far. No.
But you're a council, ain't it?
Yes, I know.
How things happening at the council you're not supposed to know.
Man, look, I will tell you this, Miss Robinson, that if you come west of this building, there are some lands which will be located here. Those lands were sold. Many of plots were sold to councillors and other people, right? But up until just over a month ago, many of the sitting councillors felt there were only 21 house lots there. I found out that there were 35 house lots. And when I mentioned it, they were surprised. How come? And they don't know because there's an inner council. There's an inner council. There's a council and an inner council. And only those people on the inner council knows what goes on. So until you find out, then because even with this,
my advice is to liaise or what should I say? Court want somebody from the inner council so you can know what's going on inside. You got the KSI, you got to know somebody inside so you could know what's going on.
The thing is,
because although you're on the council and there's an inner council, know somebody from the inner council.
I will make an example. I'll give you an example. This John Finance land sale, council had decided it was agreed that they will sell. Councillors agreed to sell. 2 councillors abstained in that vote who were present that day. But the council was supposed to meet again to decide. When I got the note that the thing was sold, councillors did not know that it was sold.
But don't you have monthly meetings or
we have
periodic
monthly
meetings?
We have
your minutes and so on. Of course, you have committees.
The
different
thing
committees.
is, what I'm saying, Sister Marjorie, is that in November of 2022, they agreed at the statutory meeting to sell the land. They were supposed to have met again to determine at what price, but the deal was sealed on November 30th.
Okay.
So December, when I got the news, is very day when I was supposed to be sworn in as a councillor. I got the news. I tried to inform people. They heard what I spoke to the uncle of a councillor who told him this. One of the inner workers, inner circle. He came back to council and said I should apologize for my behavior, knowing that I was coming to council. I should have waited to find out from them why they sold it.
Wait a minute. This agreement, then I understand that this issue came up. How can the council sell the land that doesn't belong to them? It belongs to the people of the village.
Yeah. Yes.
And of course, that came out a few hours ago.
Yes, at that meeting
that
we went
the
to.
council is not authorized to sell.
Yes. according to the statutes, according to the laws of Guyana. But, you know, that councillor said he was advised by no lesser a person than the Attorney General, and he should know. You see,
Okay.
this Attorney General has been advising, at least people are claiming that he's advising them how to take village lands. There's a shout out at Nabaklis where people are saying the Attorney General has advised some people how to take their lands. We all know of what happened at Kingley in 2021, right? And so it goes on. So the thing is, we have to be on our guard. We have to be very, very careful how we are dealing with village lands. And I keep saying that one of the, well, not one, two necessary elements must be in place before someone can become a councillor. One, that person must know the village history. And two, they must know that what are the functions as a councillor. They must know that they are not there to serve for the people to serve them, but they are there to serve the people's interests. But many
Mr.
of
McCrae, Mr. McCrae, can you point out two? Let me go to two councillors that possess those qualities that you just talked about.
I would say Mr. Duncan, as a councillor, yes, he may possess those. We
Knows the
got
village
past.
history, knows
Yeah,
the village
he should
history,
know.
and
Right. The rest, I don't know how many of, some may have one or both or the other quality, but you know, Leland Harcourt knows, but he has been willing to flex because he knew that the lands there were
because he was a
owned by
chairman. Because
villagers. He was a former chairman.
A former
And
chairman.
we all sat in discussions with when the raid project was going on. So he is aware, but I don't know if the day when that thing was, if he was, I will have to check the registers to see if he was
Is he
present.
still a councillor?
He is a councillor, but he has not been going to meetings. But you know.
So how many meetings you can be absent from before?
Well, the thing is 3 meetings. And I have been there just over a year, and I saw Leland at 2 meetings. And he never stayed to the end of those meetings. But his name is still on the list. When Letitia Stewart was out of the country on government business, and they all knew, because she did not write to the council, she sent a message. Immediately she came back after 3 months, they told her that she does not qualify to sit in council because she missed 3 meetings. She was from 8th of May.
Oh my God.
I'm Letitia's replacement, you know, because they don't want people who will not be on their side to be on the council.
Okay. But you disappointed them.
No, well, they didn't want me. They did all manner of gymnastics to, when we should have been sworn in, they said the letter came late. Any correspondence must reach the council 7 days before it can be dealt with at a meeting. You know, that is a letter from GCOM instructing them to swear us in, so we could not be sworn in November month.
Okay.
October month, when starting with October month, they had an objection for what about who is the leader of our list. The leader of our list is a fellow called Rainsford Benfield. Somebody at the council claimed that it was Usafo Odinga who died, so Rainsford should not write as the leader of the list because Usafo died. So when we wrote first, and they sent that to GCOM, and it was a lot of gerrymandering to make sure that to keep us out. So when the land issue came up, they again attempted by walking out, saying that we were being I'm trying to remember a word, but at least we could have waited. I should have waited to find out from them, seeing that I was coming to I need to
Mm.
apologize to this some fancy name house they call it.
August House.
Yes. I have besmirked their August house. Anyhow, continuing. There are the issues we have. We got a thing in BV which I call street politics. I have voted August Street to be the worst street in BV, in the BV Triumph neighborhood. Look at this street. After the rain on Tuesday. That is the street, August Street. A close second comes the portion of the main road when around by the AME Zion Church going down to the back. And why I'm saying, if you look, those two areas were areas that did not vote for the chairman's group, right? This area, the people voted in block for 8th of May, though we did not win the constituency. So he is fighting the 8th of May people. Likewise, that other street which I mentioned, portion of street which I mentioned, they voted again for 8th of May. So the two worst road areas in BV were where the 8th of May people reside. I will call it that. Anybody wants to challenge me, let them bring something to contradict it. So we have street politics playing in BV and Triumph. And the thing is, residents of this street protested about a month and a half ago. Coming out of that, they attempted, one of the organizers, Miss Rodney, she has a little kiosk in front of the JB supermarket. She was being threatened they wanted to remove her place immediately, but she has been able to resist them. I don't know if she had an injunction or what, but they are no longer talking about removing her. So we have some issues in BV.
Oh, yeah.
I hope come next local government elections, people shall remember. This is not about whether you're a supporter of the PNC, the PVP, or who. You must know your councillors, the people, as I said, who is going to represent. Whoever is on the slate, they must be deserving of your vote.
My suggestion is that people start getting out on the streets and talking about what is happening. Nobody getting out there to say what is happening.
Exactly. I want to find out, however, if a council is dissatisfied or anyone dissatisfied with the performance of the council, or what is the purpose of the local government commission and the local government ministry? Can they not take these things up with whichever of the bodies is responsible?
The local government commission. The local government commission. I do not know what is the requirements for councillors to approach the commission. That I will have to investigate. But I know I was trying to have them approach on the land issues with BM suits and gaffurs and all. Let us go and discuss these things. And that they seem not too willing. But I told them at that meeting, if they don't make that request, I will make the request in my personal capacity.
And that gaffur thing is egregious. You had mentioned it to me. I come over the side and have a look at it. And then what you showed me again with this Chinese thing taking over the whole block. Those things are really affronts to people's,
there's something I'd like to find out. What's the position of the chairman? He resigned. What
he said he resigned. He's still the chairman. He said he resigned.
He published it that he resigned in the papers and all of that.
But apparently to resign, the local government ministry must accept your resignation.
Accept your resignation.
And in this case, they did not accept it. I don't know why.
So why didn't they accept it?
I don't know why. Maybe he is doing the bidding. they feel they have won over him because of his weaknesses. They probably feel that they can control him, so let him stay there. Because if he is removed, who will be the replacement? No one knows.
But can the village, can villagers protest against that,
Yes,
knowing what he did and
there is something within the laws that villages can do that. But again, then again, I shall not initiate it. Villagers must come out and demand their rights. Elton McCray is saying to the village of Beefy and the community of Beefy and Tramp, he has his work cut out. I will deal with all the illegalities with respect to land right now, because this Gafoor and BM Suits issue will occupy me. I have to make a living, so I must do my work too. There are many people in the village who can join this cry.
Yeah,
But
show the interest.
we like to throw back and let somebody else do it for me.
Doing nothing.
People don't want to make bad friends. That's it.
Yeah.
I see
Bad
my brother
they
Paul
still got
Slow is in a
bad
corner.
friends, they still got friends, much less bad ones, they still got friends. You got friends in business, especially village matters and things like that. You don't deal with friends. You deal with the village, you deal with matters pertaining to the village, that
Is your
things
life
that
and
have
death?
to be done.
These are things about
Is it
your
life,
life
is
and
it
death.
future and your future to the young people, the future of the young people in your community? You know, it's your survival. You have everything taken away from you, and you have allow things to be done to you. What will the people coming after you see? How are you educating and training and sensitizing them? Not to be
Yesterday,
vigilant and to be
I observed something in the village here. This is not cut from the council, so I hope they don't say I'm putting it on the council. But I think we need to consider it too. Where is it? Yes. Now, you can see this little machine in this corner. This machine is cleaning this trench. You see, he worked on this side, and then he's working on the other side, and then men will have to come in here to. Now, I don't know, but my logic is telling me that it would have costed much less if they had a larger machine making a long boom machine come in and make a clean there. But
what part of the village is this? What part of the village
Triumph
is this?
Road.
Oh,
Triumph
I see. Only Triumph does be clean. Only Triumph does be clean anyway.
No, this is done by the Triumph CDC, but it's the government money spending. It's Guyanese people money spending, even though it's done by the CDC, which is a PPP arm. I'm saying this here is an opportunity for money gap, as them guys say, money gap for make. Right?
Yeah.
Money gap for
everybody getting a cut.
Everybody got to get a cut.
Equipment owner plus the
no,
man
the
who
thing
will go
is,
in the trench in the middle.
What I'm saying is, if you want for exigency, put a larger machine and do the cleaning. Or put the men in the trench and let it clean out right through. Because these machine times don't be $10 an hour. This machine time can very well be 75% of what a larger machine would have costed. Easily per hour. And that larger machine would have done much, much more work in that hour. Maybe 3 times as much. You see, these are the things I feel that villagers must come up against. Whether it's Triumph or BV, it is because at the end of the day, they will say X amount of money went into the BV Triumph community. But this is not value for your money.
Well, not a lot of people have that kind of sensibility. They are already know able to look at something like that and assess it, as to whether it's cost effective or not.
You know.
But
So I'm saying, Paul, will you tell us how money got for make? I see Paul still was there. I don't know if he's still there. Yes, Paul is there. I heard the term from you the other day. Money got for make. Like he's not sitting there. Like his thing is just on and he's not.
Yeah, just having some having with dinner. So
Oh, your mouth full.
yeah.
All right.
Only money gotta make is a term which says that the people are gonna make sure that they use whatever resources, financial resources in particular, to push it in a particular direction. So they will find things ostensibly as development work, but when you see who the people they're gonna give is to make sure the boys make money.
Yes. The thing is, look at this here. The thing is, it's not, what I'm saying is, you use a larger machine. I don't mind money got for make, but you give us value for the dollar. And that's what they're not doing in this case here.
But Amori, I think we're talking about, should I say, discrimination and petty corruption and so on in the case of these things happening in the council and all over. But even among our circles, you have things which are not going right. For example, we were at that thing yesterday. Maybe I should have told you this thing privately.
Well, tell me it privately. Tell me it privately. As
no,
you,
but
you
no,
recognize
this party could be public. We heard that there were 60 something. Did I discuss it with you? Members of the compact?
Yes.
Of ITPADA?
Yeah.
You know that the organization that I represented was registered in 2007 was refused membership. You know that?
I can't understand
so
why. Anyway,
the organization,
Sister Marge, let me discuss that at a different
African
forum.
people lands.
This is African people's too. That's about an African grouping. This here is for BV Triumph and villages.
All right.
And the villages, we are talking about what a local government body should be doing for a community here, right?
About local government, who's responsible for, should I say, deciding or designing or saying where a constituency should begin and where it should end, designing the constituency?
That should be GCOM, but the Ministry of Local Government attempted to do it recently, and
GCOM accepted it. Attempted to do it, and GCOM accepted it.
I thought they said they were querying it.
In a diplomatic way, they said they're supposed to do it, and the same thing that was recommended, they accepted.
Oh,
so it's 6.5.
Sorry.
As far as I understand, GCOM accepted the same proposal made by the minister.
Okay.
Although they said that they were supposed to, I don't think they must have changed a few words in it and just accepted it.
Because I know in the constituency I represented in 2016, in 2018, they changed it, extended it to bring in Garden of Eden, a completely PPP stronghold, and making our constituency bigger by adjoining Garden of Eden. And in that manner, PPP won the constituency. And us, support, supply, relief, and brickery. So we are controlled by this PPP councillor who doesn't do anything much for this area at all, if he does anything at all.
Well, You guys got your work cut out to make sure that he does something is done for you.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how you can force them, but you need to let them know, highlight their lapses as much as you can. The thing is, people do not understand the value of local government, the local government system. Because if you do not participate in that local government election, which many brothers and sisters do not do, they don't participate, they do not participate, and then they expect to be serviced. They cry about poor services.
Excuse me. Okay. But in that picture I'm seeing on the screen, that photograph of all that debris on the side of the street, at the street cleaning street, how long does that stay there? Do they
Well,
clean it
I
up
don't
and say,
know. I don't know what is their plan.
okay,
If they will move it up to this was yesterday. I did not pass back there today,
okay,
but I know
okay, okay.
it. Generally, what they do is that when they pile, they will remove it, you know. But when they use a bigger piece of, they do it one time. You clean, and because if it's a bigger machine, it would have been much more stuff. They would have had a truck by the side. They're moving the things away
Okay,
one time.
okay. Yeah.
So I don't know what they intend to do there. Maybe the village council will be asked to use its trailers to move those. They may take the village council's trailers to move, because we have 2 trailers and with 2 tractors, so they may take them and move them. I don't know. What is the plan? Edgar, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I am surviving, my brother. Glad you're on.
Yes, I got confused with the time. I didn't realize.
Oh,
I
yeah,
forgot.
that's why I will put Guyana time.
Yes.
I will put Guyana time. I guess you
Is
guys
that
get
Edgar
Henry.
Edgar Henry?
Yes, it is.
Yes, Marjorie.
Hi, Edgar. How are you doing?
All right.
I'm
How is
peeping your story. How is
Edgar,
Lance?
you
Yeah,
came in.
how is Lance doing?
Fine, he just came back from somewhere in Linden. He went to some funeral.
Okay.
A friend of ours died, friend named Femi.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
Edgar and Paul, you guys came in after I mentioned what happened in court. The lawyer for the defense, for Mohammed's sons and daughters, withdrew the case against the council. So our lands remain with us, basically.
I was following the case, and I even last Wednesday on my program I mentioned it, and I congratulated you for the efforts in confronting these people. I am very fully aware of what has been happening, and I said on the program I mentioned it, but I asked the question, what next in terms of these people who attempted this fraud? Is the matter going to end there? The matter was withdrawn, yes, by the lawyer, and I read all the comments made by the judge. Scathing comments.
Yes.
He said there's no innocent party in this entire thing. But it's for us now as well just to decide what we are going to do. These people made an attempt to deprive us of our legitimate property. So we're going to just allow it to just go at that. And I don't think we should. I don't think we should. Apart from the fact that we're going to wait until the next local government elections
to perhaps
act. Well, we got to recognize that we have limited power when it comes to that, because we don't select or elect the councillors. We elect the party, and then the party name the councillors and all of that. So, especially with the chairman, Bhagat being there as chairman, who knows about Bhagat? I never met Bhagat. I don't even know Bhagat until this thing. The point is, he was put there by the party, and that is one of the problems we have. So we have got to say to these people who our representatives should be.
I must, at this point, I think I will say something which may not have been known by the public. You see, the last local government elections, we were asked to collate with the APNU grouping. because generally our votes in May comes from the APNU support base. We have a few people from the other side who supported us because we are a community group. We said we did, members said we didn't mind, but let's us talk. The first meeting we had, we were confronted with the fact that they wanted Bagot, and the first so we tell them, if we be gonna collate with you, we do not want Bagot and we do not want Leland Harcourt. We said it up front. The next meeting we met, they insisted that these two must be there, and we walked. We walked because of Bagot and Harcourt.
Which party Bagot from? Can you tell
Bagot,
me which party?
Bagot is under the AP.
When he first contested, I think he was
an
an
independent. He went as an independent. Right.
So then how we look? Anyway.
For whatever reason, but put there to be their chairman, right? So we have that issue. So it's not a question that some of us, so that is why he's so vicious against the neighborhoods that voted for 8th of May. He will not do roads, as I showed you in the photograph there for August Street. And if you go down BV Main Road from around the AME Zion Church, well, from by Blakey, Paul, going down is mess. And you know that neighborhood voted 8th of May. Right? So he is dealing with politics by the street. He's not serving the entire community.
He's not serving the community.
He's not serving.
Don't put an entire. He's not serving no part of the community, sir. He's not serving the community.
I just came back from Ghana. I'm visited by the Fawaktan, and it's awful.
Well,
it's awful, all the streets and everything. And I'm shocked that we're talking about the villagers have to come together. I never knew that he's been put in there by the party. I thought there was some voting. The villagers have a say in him being the chairman. This is surprising to me.
You vote for a block, you vote. Well, what happens with the local government is that you have constituents candidate. Each party or group will put a person for a neighborhood. That person is voted for, but then you vote twice for the constituent and for the group. So then when they tally, if your constituent candidate wins the neighborhood, he gets it. And then they have a block of votes. Then you will then divide the rest of seats between based on a prorated basis. Now, but then they will also within the group decided who they want as chairman. It's not the villagers decide who you want as chairman. The councillors decide on the chairman.
Councillors. Yeah. And if the majority of the councillors vote for him, that's what it is. It means they don't have a lot of choice. They've got other people to choose from.
In all the years of following the politics in BV, this has been the most corrupt local government administration by far.
Yes.
I call it from a small boy.
Yes, your father was chairman. Right.
Involved. And there's never been any type of corruption much as this level.
No. I mean, you had your father.
Yeah, in those days,
father,
listen,
Mr. Duncan.
Elton, in those days, you had to get village fathers, not party members. You had to be, you had to own property. You had to own
You have to
people
qualify.
were supposed to be somebody that people could come to you and talk to and get solutions and so on. They were respected people, not like what's happening here now.
They were
That
they
is
were
why I said
that were being respected.
That is why I
Yes.
said just now, for you to be a councillor, you need to know the village history first and foremost. Secondly, you must understand your role as a councillor. There are other criteria others may want to add. Even if you're going with a party-based system, those are things that you must be given. You don't just pick up any Tom, Dick, and Harry because he's loved by a party group or the party. No.
Yeah,
But
because
it-
many of the councillors that I know, or a couple of the councillors that I know, aren't villagers even. They aren't villagers, much less to know the village.
Oh, yes. I thought you had to be a villager to
No.
be a
They
part of the
aren't. I know.
council.
I know.
You
At
have to
least I
live
have
in the
couple of them
village.
that aren't.
You have to live in the village.
You're
That's all.
supposed to be a villager.
Well,
You're
that is
supposed to-
another issue we may have to institute.
Right, because all the older elders that we growing up knowing that there were councillors for the village, they born and grow there. They born and grow in BV. How come, we are all way off now?
Yeah.
Maybe we should start asking for that. Was Baggett born and grew up in BV?
He didn't grow up in BV, but I understand he born in BV. I understand he born there, but that's what I
May I
was
say
told.
something?
Yes,
You know,
please.
when I was in our NDC here, I had made a suggestion that we have a committee for public relations and communication. And we use that committee to reach out to all the members of the of the NDC, like have a quarterly or half yearly newsletter. And also that we were to engage young people by having a competition for young people to compete, give a profile of the village, not the village, well, maybe of their constituency or something or the other, so that people get to know each other, you know what you're dealing with, you have like a plan, you know, have a geographical plan of the place, you know how it's what it comprised of what's the acreage, where your streets are always designed, and the history of, how it's got its name and who are the people living there and so on. And you have people, you give them prizes that are significant or compensatory enough to make them want to engage in this competition. And you get people, well, of course, business people, or if you got business people in there to provide these prizes. So, you kind of use that to build communication with the villagers, encourage them to come out and be recognized that you catering for them, and they too must interact with the NDC.
You see,
Getting
you know.
involved.
I
Yeah.
mean, this last local government elections, I mean, after that, we decided that we're not gonna join. It was very acrimonious, Things were said
Okay.
about members of 8th of May, and it was very real gutter politics that some people in 8th of May at what decided it didn't worth it,
Okay.
right? Now, if I call on some of them to let's go back to, they're not interested. I got a cousin, Paul, what's his name? Clive Rodney. You know Clive, mining pigs. His neighbor,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Clive voted it, was pushing it to me, talking. His neighbor stopped giving him the pig food that she generates, the peelings, because he voted to me. I mean, that bad it is.
What?
I mean, the thing is not easy. I went to Congress Place last year at their representing Agda at the General Council. A woman from the same group saw me there. What are you doing there? You're a PPP. I mean, people got beat up at Congress Place for less than that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Well, we didn't run as a PVP as PNC in 2016, and Miss what's her name, Allen, your countrywoman, was not very happy with us. They used to ignore us, although because of that, we followed what Dr. Reed had done. And because of that, we got a considerable number of, we call it on the seats on the council. But the last time, no, I just didn't go in, and they get about 4 seats less.
Yeah.
On
You
the
know,
council.
So the whole thing is, I'm saying, these people, they take this thing so far.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
we came up against them, we are PPP. Genevieve Allen, I will call her name again. She said on the and foolish people in BV believed her. I am PPP because I was running with it. I mean,
well,
or you gonna say something like that at Congress Place?
Yes, yes, yes.
Everything is
Yes.
politics.
I mean,
Yeah.
said the right thing at Congress
So,
Place. She had to say the right things at Congress Place.
this we name from box as them Paris get beat up at Congress Place for less than that.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Luckily, I was with a group of people who knew me well. So if I didn't have with people who didn't know me, I might get beat up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
These people are real stupid. When it comes to the way they behave with this politics. I mean, yes, you would like to know that you get the people you want to support in office, but then as I said, those people must be genuine. And this crowd, most of them are just there saying yes, yes, no, no, without knowing
So
what
you
they're
should
saying
meet
yes
them
to.
now and ask them, meet them that put Bagger there and ask them if they're satisfied.
Yeah.
You should know, they should now come out and say how
Come out
satisfied
and
they
say,
are
how satisfied
with his
they are.
actions. The people
Miss
that put him there.
Miss Robinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Allen, please ask her. You know,
Me? Me? I could ask her. You know that I could ask her, but I didn't want to get involved in village politics like that. I'd see her and ask her if they're satisfied. I wasn't here when I saw it I saw it on Zoom or something when they were carrying on and saying he's a good boy and this and that. But I'd ask them. I'd ask the whole pack of them that were sitting there if they're now satisfied.
Yeah.
What about all that confusion and secrecy about it? Okay.
Yes, Harold. Not Harold, Edgar.
It's all right. You can call me anything, man. Listen, there was an article in the paper where the same guy said he resigned in Starbuck News.
Yes.
And did not resign. And that in itself tells us how dishonest he was and how he would like to portray the wrong message, send the wrong message to the villagers. He said he resigned and he knew damn well that he did not resign.
Well, he said he resigned, but the talk around is that they said the ministry or the minister of local government did not accept his resignation. They say if you resign, the minister must accept it. I don't know why. I mean, if I don't want to do something, well, you must force me to do it.
Is there a way we can do? What can we do to get him out?
Madam, I would ask, tell your relatives back
Vote
home,
of
let
no
them start
confidence.
walking down the streets and vote and get a vote of no confidence.
Okay.
Now, where does the RDC come in, the regional council? They're not under the regional, the national?
Yes.
They
They're the next tier. I don't know how effective they can be, but I think if a petition is raised, I think they say a petition must have must have at least 12 people signing the petition, and then it can be considered.
And that shouldn't be hard to get.
No, but then again, my brother, I'm not gonna be leading that. There are others to do it. The village is not my grandfather's. My grandfather didn't leave it to me. I'm doing a lot of things. I got to make a living too, I got to work when the day come to make a penny. I can't just occupy myself at going after these people. There are others. Let's all do it together. It's a cooperative situation. We all need to put our hands there. you know. But
Elton, what about all that secret and with the selling of the land and all that? Is not something to be investigated?
yes, I hope it will be. There have been some discussions. In fact, one other person mentioned it to me last week about the lands that were sold, that there's an investigation to start. I don't know. Let's see what happened.
Okay.
Well, who is leading that investigation?
Well, I don't know who is leading it yet. Let us see.
Who's the attorney?
No, the author, not through the but I'm saying this is from the police end.
No, you have to get an attorney and go after these guys.
You should, yes.
That's the
Yes.
that's the only way you get quick results.
You gotta put something together, then present it to the police.
Right. If the petition is first, fine. We do the petition, we get the 12 names or 24 names, whatever, how many of the names. And then we take it to the attorney and ask him to represent us. We have to pay him, fine.
Unfortunately, folks, I don't believe those methods now are going to go anyplace. You have to have radical action. And I believe the fact that the matter, and let me bring in some of my law enforcement experience. A matter like this, persons whose lands were affected should come together and bring private criminal charges against these people. You try to sell my land when you had no authority to do so. That type of radical action you got to take, put them on the defensive, come together. If my lands were affected, I would have been filing private criminal charges for larceny or something against these people for fraud or something who attempted. And let me see what will happen then. But the investigation and all of that ain't going no place. And the fact that this whole politics and the thing, the only reason why Dharam Lal, the minister, and these people had showed a little interest is because Bhagat is a PNC man, so they want to politicize the thing. They had actually said so. Hey, this is not the government issue. This is an issue where a man who the peer doing these unlawful deeds. So they bring in politics into it. So if we, as villagers, or the persons who were directly affected, really want to move this thing forward, we got to take some form of drastic action. See some lawyer and decide to bring private criminal charge against the chairman and all those persons who are involved. That is my view.
I'll put it to the group that hired a lawyer to see if they will want to follow that. As we are out there already.
Elton, I spoke with UC Anderson about it, and I think he might be interested in going forward. Do we have the names of all the people that were affected?
Yes, I got the names.
Because what we could do, we could have a class action suit rather than them going individually, Paul.
Exactly. All the persons who were affected, once they have the correct documentations and so on to show that they are the bona fide owners of that land, you can't allow, we should never ever allow what took place here to
So
just go
under the rug. No,
because it's swept under the rug because the judge ruled and we believe that the ruling is a favorable ruling. We should pursue this thing to make them an example. They should never ever attempt to do, not only them, but other
persons going after people's lands
like that. Precedent that realize that anytime they attempt to do so, this is what is going to happen to them.
Okay, I will talk to UC again. And in fact, we should have met since Thursday. We've been playing catcher. And see how we can go forward with it.
Okay.
Again, I say we have to understand that this is the worst act of criminality ever perpetrated or attempted to be perpetrated in the village. And again, we should not just allow it to slide like that. Because I know, and I don't know how many people are aware, through Elton, I know that there are many other illegal acts that have taken place, but you see the people do one and they do a little and they're getting away with it. And that is why they got to the stage where they're selling the land. People who are involved the individuals who are involved are suspected to be involved in so many corrupt activities that look, it's that easy.
Mm.
And when we look back and see what happened when the Marriott was built, when they moved those people to they were supposed to be moved to somewhere of the East Bank, and then what happened in Moko recently, you know, they didn't own the land actually. They were squatters, I understand. But
No,
these people in BVD own the land. That every land in front has a land at the back.
no,
there.
this land in question, Harold, and
It's all right. I understand, my brother. It's all right.
these lands in questions were lands that the village got by way of a crown grant in the 30s, 1930s. So
That's
it's
correct.
it's not linked to that original purchase, but still it is people's. It belongs to people. They belongs to people.
All right. So I agree with Paul. Let's go after them. I mean, we have to encourage those, get those lists and the names of people and tell them, listen, you could have lost it completely, and now you can't just sleep on it. And you have
Okay.
people backing them, and we gather the ranks together and go after them. It's nonsense.
Okay, so but if we're gonna go after them, I think this will be a case which may end up not at the High Courts in Guyana. It may end up further because they will try to defend it.
That's all right.
So we must be prepared for the long haul, and we will have to do some fundraising.
All right.
Sure.
I was coming to that. I was saying, yeah, we can go after them, but financially, how?
No, we're gonna get the finances. Once they agree to
Oh,
go
that
after them,
sounds good.
No, well,
Once-
that's what I
once-
heard. I heard that.
right. Once they agree to what Paul was saying, not to sweep it under the rug, and they're gonna go forward, don't worry. Finances gonna be coming. You know enough.
Okay.
Money is not a problem. The problem
Oh,
is no
dear.
money. No,
Glad
the
to hear that.
Money is not a problem. The problem is no money.
No money,
Don't
exactly.
The
worry.
problem is no money.
When it comes to financial matters, so don't worry.
Okay.
Right. So we have a long haul. I am willing to go after that.
So am I. Count me in.
I'm there.
Count me on too.
As I'll tell you now that I'm there with you,
Yeah.
foot on foot. And I
Okay.
am the other, as you indicated earlier, this Gafoor thing is a thing that we have got to pursue.
Well, the
Yeah, I
Gafoor
have-
thing,
I have gotten to the stage where I had actually tried to get a confrontation with them, but maybe I am too prominent because I walked through there a couple of mornings. Well, you know,
I know you told me. You
Come
told
on,
me.
you
my
know that
exercise
they
route.
won't. You know that they won't stop you.
I
You know
walked
they won't
there
stop you.
with the hope that the security guard will
They
stop me
might try
from
to
passing
stop
there.
me.
Well, exactly.
might
So
try
people
to
have got
stop
to
me.
test these things, man. They got to test these things. They never stopped me. On one occasion, the gate was closed, not locked, but closed. And I opened the gate and they just watched me walk right through and go on the seawall and do my exercise.
I don't think they're stopping people, you know, because I walk there sometimes. I don't think they stop people, but the fact is that you got
The
a
gate
gate
is
that you
there.
got to pass through that,
The-
you know, that wasn't there all the time, and you never know what can happen at any time.
They have a
Sometimes
physical
you
barrier.
need there and the gate is locked.
The
Yes,
gate
sir, they
has
have a physical-
the gate
they
has
have
to
a
move and the
physical
structure
barrier.
have to move.
So once
gate
you have
and the
that
structure.
physical structure there, it is implied that you should not go beyond that part. And that's what we want to get you done. So
Right,
even though
right.
even if they don't stop you, the physical barrier in the form of the fence and the gate
That's what we remove.
Mhm.
is an indication from them that you should not pass there. And that is what we want to get
Occupation.
you to. Yeah.
They can accuse you of picking up something there. If they can take advantage of you and say they find you going to move something because they got things in there. Right? All of that can happen.
Now go with your phone, cell phone, and take a picture and record what happening.
Okay, the hour is gone. I don't know. It's not that I want to be rude, but you know, I don't want people to drag. We need to continue this discourse, and there are other things which we can do. But I will see what can be done with regards to advancing the situation as promoted by Paul and supported by Edgar,
Exactly.
right?
And
Any
everybody
closing
else.
shots from anybody?
Mr. McCrory, I'm the person who visit your home trying to see you twice and can't get to see you.
Nobody tell me that you were here, my dear sister. If they had told me that, I would have come and looked for you.
Oh, yes? Well, I'm not in Guyana anymore.
I know
but
you. I
twice
heard
I
you
visit-
saying that you were here and you left. What I'm saying is,
Yeah,
told me that you came,
yeah.
right? Oh Lord, wrong song, and you.
Yes, you have all these dogs barking. Anyhow, people seem to have gone.
Yeah, well, this is the end.
Anyway,
Okay,
Good night,
okay.
everybody.
good
Oh,
night,
we
Mr.
You take care.
I'll
catch
give
up.
you a call, though. I'll call you so we can talk.
Okay, dear.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we'll
Okay,
talk to you.
Mr. Paul Snow. Okay, Edgar. And
Okay, bye.
All right, folks, have a good night.
okay, okay, Paul.
All right.
Mr. Snow.
To the market, them a go.
Yeah,
Until
Edgar,
next,
bye-bye.
the second week
All
in
right,
next month, we will be back again. You take care,
All right,
everybody.
take care.
Night, night.
All right, guard, everybody take care.
All right, take care.
Okay, okay, Edgar, bye.
Bye, bye.
Torn as them join in the waking. Cock crow, dagabag, donkey bray, horse and they even duck a quack.